So now we're on to the next step. We've creme coated, layered, leveled our cake. This is a different cake than that was in the last video. It's smaller. I thought it would be better for this purpose so that it wouldn't take as long and the video wouldn't last forever. So I'm gonna get right to it. What I'm doing is covering the outside and putting the outside layer of icing on. I'm gonna put it on pretty thick because later I'm probably gonna go in and scrape some off so that it's all 100% even. It kind of takes a while to get the icing on there if you're not just slapping it on there. And I don't like to do that. I like to take my time because it makes less of a mess and it leaves for less work when you have to go even everything out at the end. But as you see, I'm not putting it on there super smoothly. This is just a super rough coat. This takes kind of a while, so just hang with me. I'm gonna try not to talk at the beginning of my videos for 5 hours and give you this whole long explanation of things because I hate that when I watch tutorials. I want to just get to the point. It's kind of like whenever you go read a recipe online somewhere and they feel the need to tell you their life story and how this specific cookie recipe affected their entire life. And that's great for them, but I just want a cookie recipe. I don't want to read like 3 pages worth of stuff. So I'm gonna try my best to just keep it to the point instead of dragging it out the best that I can. As you see, I'm just going around a little at a time, putting a thick layer on there. Almost done with the sides. It does not have to be perfect at this point. It can be as messy as you want it to be as long as it's on there thick. Now after you've done the sides, we need a good dollop on top. Kind of going around there. Push your icing around so that it looks like there's not, like more on the bottom than on the top, or best you can. This, like I said, this is supposed to be super rough. It's not a big deal. Okay, so now, from my last video, I showed you this, that I use this to level the icing in between layers. But I also use it to level the icing around the cake and across the top. So I take it and find a spot that the icing is a pretty thick consistency all the way down. Put it in the cake just slightly, not all the way to the cake, because then you're going to scrape all the icing off. But just barely push it in there. And then we're gonna drag it all the way around the cake. Okay. My daughter is in here. Yeah, hold on just a minute. Now, as you're gonna see, it's probably gonna have holes and gaps where the icing didn't get filled in. So what you do at that point is take your spatula, fill it in. It's super easy as long as you take your time and you don't get in a big hurry, because the second you get in a hurry, you're gonna mess it up. Got another hole there. At this point, what we're trying to do is make sure that every bit of the cake is evenly frosted. And there's not like more icing on this side of the cake than this side, more icing on the top than the bottom, the middle's bulging out. So take it and put it back in your little spot right there where you know that the icing touches the spatula all the way down, and then drag it around again. This is probably going to take off a good bit of icing, but you see it's looking very even. And I usually just keep going around finding spots that aren't perfect. But I'm super picky. You may not be as picky as I am, so. And at this point, you're not trying to make it smooth, perfectly smooth. This is just for purposes of the icing being completely even. Let me try that again. And you can go as many times as you need to make sure that it's perfect. And at this point, it's pretty smooth on the sides, but we can do better than that, and I'm going to show you how in another video. At this point, I usually take this and push it in a little bit, this top, and then I pick this back up. And I do the same thing that I did whenever we leveled the layers. You want to make sure this top is level, especially if it's going to be stacked. Like if you're going to layer another cake on top of it, you want this to be flat, or else your next tier is going to be crooked. So do that up here. See, now that's already looking pretty good. At this point, I'm done smoothing the icing and getting it to an even consistency. And after this is when I'm going to go into getting it perfect and giving it that professional look. And I'll show you how to do that in the next video.